Assalamu alaikum. I am Luqman Qaida and this is Shaykhi Academy. In today's episode, inshallah, we will discuss an important group of letters which are Sin, Zay, and Sad. We will know its point of articulation and the difference between them. So, stay tuned.
Shaykhi Academy.
This is just to remind you that we are explaining using Al-Minhaj book, the official book of Shaykhi Academy. So we will explain now these three letters: Sin, Zay or Zay, and Sad. Sin, Zay, and Sad. Okay? Also, these three letters are a group or a cluster. Why? Because they have the same point of articulation, which is the tip of the tongue, okay, and the edge of front to lower incisors. So here is the tongue. As we know, it's divided into three parts: the head part, which is nearest to the mouth, and the back part, which is nearest to the chest, and the middle part. So the tip of the tongue is this part, the first part of the head part of the tongue, the tip part of the tongue. So the tip of the tongue and the edge of front to lower incisors. So front to this edge, we want to see this. This is the lower incisors. Okay, the front to two lower incisors is this part. The front to two lower incisors. The edge of this front to lower incisors is this. Okay, so this is the edge of front to lower incisors. So the tip of the tongue will touch this edge, the edge of front to lower incisors. S, and then the sound will produce and comes in between. S, as, letter Sin, as, letter Zay or Zay, and then else, letter Sad. So if these three letters have the same point of articulation, the tip of the tongue touches the edge of front to lower incisors. So what is the difference between them? The difference between, we will say first, the difference between Sin and Zay or Zay. Okay, S and Az. Okay, when we say letter Zay, the second one, if you touch this area, you will feel a vibration of the vocal cords. As. But if you said this letter Sin and you touch this area, you will not feel a vibration of the vocal cords. As. So S and Az. So the difference between these two letters is just the vibration of the vocal cords. So when we pronounce the letter Zay and we vibrate our vocal cords, this letter is called voiced letter because there is a vibration of the vocal cords. But when we pronounce letter Sin and there is no vibration of the vocal cords, this letter is called a voiceless. A voiceless means that there is no vibration of the vocal cords, but voiced, it means there is a vibration of the vocal cords. And it's also called, as we said before, it's called al-jahru and al-hams. When there is no vibration of the vocal cords, we can attribute this quality, which is al-jahru. Al-hams. When there is no vibration, it's al-hams. So we will attribute this quality to the letter Sin. Okay, but al-jahr, it's a quality that we attribute the letter that we touch, that we vibrate our vocal cords. So this letter we can attribute the quality of al-jahr to letter Zay or Zay. Okay, So the difference between these two letters, if we want to call it in Arabic, we will say, or what Arabic scholars says in when they speak about the points of articulation and مخارج الحروف, we can say the difference is al-jahr and al-hams. But if you want to say it, the difference from the phonetic aspect, okay, you can say the voiced letter for the letter that has the quality of al-jahr, and a voiceless for the letter that has the quality of al-hams. Okay, so this is the difference. Seen, as, there is no vibration, as there is a vibration. Okay, let's now discover also the difference between letter seen and letter صاد. sa, صا, si, صي, su, صو, as, as. So what is the difference? The difference here is the heaviness and lightness. التفخيم والترقيق. Letter seen is a light letter, حرف مرقق. But letter صاد is a heavy letter, حرف مفخم. Okay, what does that mean? What does heavy letter or light letter mean? We deal with the back of the tongue. We said many times before that heavy letter means the back of the tongue is not heavy letter means the back of the tongue is raised, but light letter, the back of the tongue is not raised. So the back of the tongue will not be raised with the letter seen because it's a light letter, but the back of the tongue will be raised with the letter صاد because it's a heavy letter. And this is also what's called in Arabic الاستعلاء والاستفال. الاستعلاء, which means the back of the tongue is raised, and الاستفال, which means the back of the tongue is not raised. So to conclude, these three letters has the same point of articulation, but the difference between seen and زي is الجهر والهمس. And Ibn al-Jazari رحمه الله said in المقدمة الجزرية مهموسها فحثه شخص سكت شديدها لفظ أجد قط بكت. So حرف السين حرف مهموس while حرف الزي حرف مجهور. Okay, the vibration of the vocal the vocal cords will be vibrated when pronounced letter زي or زي, but will not be vibrated when pronounced letter seen. And the difference between seen and صاد is the heaviness and lightness, as letter seen is a light letter while letter صاد is a heavy one. So now we came to the end of this episode. So if you have any question, just let me know in the comment section below. سبحانك اللهم بحمدك أشهد أن لا إله إلا أنت نستغفرك ونتوب إليك. Now we came to the end of this episode. So if you want to follow up the next episodes, consider subscribing. Also, if you want a qualified Quran tutor, whether for yourself or your kids, we are providing online Quran classes. Don't forget to check out our app. See you inshallah in the next episode. Assalamu alaikum.
Shaykhi Academy. Learn and enjoy.